객사병주 이십상하니
Seowon are Neo-Confucian academies established by the local literati from the mid-16th to mid-17th century of the Joseon dynasty. They are an exceptional testimony to culture, tradition of Korea, in which Neo-Confucianism has thrived as a principal philosophy and strongly localized in the nation. Although the principles of Neo-Confucianism had developed in many parts of East Asia, the 9 Seowon of Korea preserve exclusively unique attributes as private Neo-Confucian academies. Throughout the history, there have been countless academies over the world, but the 9 Seowon exhibit one of its kind. What gave birth to their unique features? Confucianism had long been predominant in East Asia, but transformed into various branches of theories. On the other hand, the Joseon dynasty remained dedicated particularly to Neo-Confucianism as a governing philosophy and encouraged deepening of the study. Indeed, Seowon were the vehicle of constant blossoming of Neo-Confucianism. Revered teachers at Seowon were enshrined when they passed away and inspired as a figure of role model. Unlike other private academies in East Asia which observed veneration for Confucius, Seowon made their own choices to establish Neo-Confucianism genealogy and create traditions of veneration. Located in the southern reaches of Korea, the 9 Seowon are heritage that provides exceptional testimony to the process of how Neo-Confucianism had been introduced from China and uniquely added with the Korean representation. How were Seowon of Korea different from that of China or Japan? China's Confucian private academies were mostly oriented to cultivating future government officials, while that of Japan promoted vocational training. As academic sources of local literati who were devoted to study and practice Neo-Confucianism, Seowon continued to serve as a venue for learning. In fact, the learning began with inspiring emulation from the lives of enshrined figure. Veneration, which takes place in shrine, is a method that provides the contact between the enshrined figures and scholars of the current generation. Seowon had rarely been a place for preparing the national examination. Rather, students were encouraged to vigorously interpret the universe with Neo-Confucian views and internalize them. Lecture Hall was designed to promote study as well as discussion based on the established scholastic genealogy within the local community. Interaction was a distinguishing function of Seowon. The local literati gathered at Seowon built networks and engaged in cultural, social, and political activities. Interaction with nature was also promoted to appreciate and be immersed in the surrounding landscape. As such, interactions with people and nature were facilitated at Pavilion, which meant to connect Seowon to the outside world. Gathered here, the local scholars participated in a wide range of cultural and social activities. They endeavored to create an ideal society of Neo-Confucianism through the efforts at Seowon. As a result, Seowon evolved into a venue for knowledge and discussion, cultivating Neo-Confucian scholars and edifying the local community. The 9 Seowon are the prime example of illustrating varied forms of activities by the local literati. While the 9 academies created types of Seowon architecture embodying the principles of Neo-Confucianism, each Seowon individually attains distinctive attributes in the setting, buildings, layout, decorative art, and landscape. As the first example in Korea, Sosu Seowon defined essential functions of private Neo-Confucian Academy, which was located in the natural setting. Namgye Seowon provided a layout of shrine and lecture hall arranging on a straight central axis, which was the first attempt of its kind in the Joseon dynasty. Oksan Seowon rigorously pursued the inclusion of pavilion into Seowon architecture to facilitate interaction among scholarly classes as well as with nature. Dosan Seowon, developed as a center evolved from robustly established Neo-Confucian genealogy. It not only displays examined attributes of individual buildings, but the invited surrounding landscape into architectures. Piram Seowon demonstrated building hierarchy displayed on a flat land. As the lecture hall was built to face the shrine, the level of significance was ingeniously expressed. Todong Seowon made full use of the sloping topography. It represents a pinnacle of Seowon architecture with its sophisticated decorative art on outer walls and the lower columns of architecture. Pyeongsan Seowon maximized the function of interaction through establishing a wide pavilion in an outstanding landscape. The place was also used as a forum of discussions by the local scholars. Musang Seowon offered buildings oriented and open to the outside village. The Academy depicts the expanded influence of Neo-Confucianism in every corner of the society. Tonam Seowon expressed the principles of propriety into a tangible form of lecture hall. As enshrining one of the most prominent figures of propriety in Korea, the Academy is known for its dedication to restore the order of society after a series of wars. As such, the 9 Seowon have achieved distinctive types of Neo-Confucian architecture as a whole, while each one distinctively attains creative and outstanding architectural representation. Seowon was the key to understanding the very meaning of life and fundamental relationship between human and nature during the Joseon dynasty. Today, many have lost faith in humanity and exploit nature without knowing adverse impacts. Seowon of Korea is a heritage that could give an answer to challenges we face today.